Alright, hey there Twitch, hey there YouTube, it's Phantasma Knight, and I'm not doing a gaming stream for once. I'm just gonna do my writing stream. Just gonna write. I don't know if this is a good idea or a terrible idea. Let's put on some music and let's start writing. Ender Lilies, Quietest of the Nights. Haven't played it yet, but the soundtrack's nice. And I think this would be a fitting mood, I think. If it gets too intense, I'll switch to something else. Let's see. How do I start the story? Okay, so we're gonna leave the title for this one blank for now. I'm just gonna start writing. I managed to turn up the font just in case it... Yeah, just to make it easier. I don't know if it is easy to read or not, but let me turn up the font. Okay, let's see. A girl who only knew how to dance. That was joy and her purpose. Bend her form into expressions. Grace, beauty. Shoot, I don't know where to go with this one. She was adorned in pretty dresses. Spent every day, every month, of every year, dancing away. Should I start a new paragraph, maybe? The children absolutely adored her. Maybe I should save that line and for later. Let's see. I can't think of how to phrase this. Let's see. I'm thinking something about men, women, and children, but if the children adored her, then what do the men and women think of her? Not trying to use a crass line here, I could definitely think of something easy there. Let's see. See. The men adored her. The women admired her. The children squealed with glee. None could take their eyes off her. For she was unmatched. The one and only avatar of everlasting grace. But I already used the word grace. The music's getting pretty loud. I wonder if it's drowning out my voice. Well, I'll find out later. This is just kind of a bonus stream anyway. I don't even know if I'm uploading this to YouTube. Probably just for posterity. Anyway, let's see. One and only avatar of everlasting. Let's try to come up with synonym, but let's see. Grace. Synonym. Adroitness, poise, finesse. Lots of these words are good. Everlasting, elegant flow. Everlasting and... That's fine. Even so, her presence was only known. Even so, her presence was only known in a small town. Until the day a wealthy young man ventured by her father's store. Whoops, not in armored, enamored? Yeah, that's right. Amor means love. He was enamored. He promised her father an enormous dowry, and the girl herself always love and attention. Love and affection. Well, same thing, but just kind of reiterating it, kind of emphasizing it. The father was loath to part with his dear child. But in the end, no, he was loath to depart with his dear child. But the young man was insistent. Almost obsessively so. And then he relented. This was low? Okay, well, just go with that. Maybe this is the adjective form, the other one was the verb form. Then he relented, seeing the girl off with tears in his eyes. Seeing the girl off with tears in his eyes, but not before seeing the girl off with tears in his eyes, not before forcing I feel like I should call him something other than the wealthy young man. But not before forcing her suitor to claim his undying devotion to her. To all within hearing. All within earshot sounds a little too casual. To all within hearing. To all within hearing of her birth home. Maybe all within hearing of her home. Years pass. Years passed, and the young man grew into a respected man. The girl stayed by his side. The colors of her youth slowly fading with time. No. Colors of her youth fading with time. Her movements slowing. Slowing against her will. He cared not. Each night, he would ask her to dance for him, and each night, she would happily oblige. See. Each night he would ask her to dance for him. Each night she would happily oblige. For him, there was no other. For her, there could never be another. That line might sound a little ominous, but let's just go with it. Could never be any other. And then the day of tragedy. No, and then the first day of tragedy came. One evening, she found herself unable to move. Once more. Limbs begged her body to turn and swirl, as they had always done. But she couldn't. Fear overtook her. What worth had she? She could no longer dance for the man. It's a bit of archaic wording, but I'm gonna keep it that way. What worth had she if she could never dance for the man? If she could never again dance for the man? Time continued to pass, and the man began to look at her less and less. Wow, I didn't even realize. Okay, it's against a white background. That's why I didn't realize that there was a bot that popped in here. Great. That was a bot, right? I didn't closely see it. Actually, I could still see the message on here, but it's against a white background. No wonder I couldn't see squat. Okay, let me make restream chat darker for once. Yep, give me a moment to change this. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And let me actually restart restream chat so I'll notice if someone actually comes in. Come now. Alright. Okay. Time continued to pass, and the man began to look at her less and less. On rare occasion, he would ask her to dance again. And she would try ever so hard and fail, just as she had that first horrifying night. Ever so hard. Again, bit of archaic wording, but sure, let's go with that. On rare occasion. Grammatically, that would be better. Rare occasions, he would ask her to dance again, and she would try ever so hard, fail just as she had that first horrifying night. She felt her existence dwindling. And there was nothing she could do. Then the second day of tragedy. Came. This second tragedy. She looked down at the casket, tears long frozen on her face from shame. Now staring in disbelief. The man was old and gray now. The man was old and gray now. She hadn't realized how much time had passed. She vowed she would see his smile one last time. Let's see. He had never, though he looked her less and less. Hang on. Let's see. I think I'm kind of repeating a line there. Let's see. Yeah, I did use a line. Let's try to use something different. Though he long cease watching, though he had no longer spent nearly as long with her as he once did, he had never left her. He never left her. She vowed she would see his smile one last time. Oblivious to the end that came so suddenly. Tried just one last time. Right, just one last time. But in the end, no, I already used in the end, didn't I? Let's see. Did I? In the end. Okay, let's change this to eventually. Alright, just one last time, but in the end. She never danced again. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, I don't know if this title I'm gonna give it will make it worse, but at the very least, I hope it will make it a little more interesting. Whether the wind-up doll is a metaphor, or if she actually was a doll, that'll be up to the readers to decide. So, one last time from the beginning. The wind-up doll. A girl who only knew how to dance. That was her life and her purpose. To twirl at the request of others, to bend her form into expressions of grace and beauty. She was adorned in pretty dresses and spent every day of every month of every year dancing away. The men adored her, the women admired her, the children squealed with glee. None could take their eyes off her, for she was unmatched, the one and only avatar of everlasting and elegant flow. Even so, her presence was only known in a small town, till the day a wealthy young man ventured by her father's store. He was enamored. He promised her father an enormous dowry, and the girl herself all his love and affection. The father was loath to part with his dear child, but the young man was insistent, almost obsessively so. Eventually, he relented, seeing the girls off with tears in his eyes, but not before forcing her suitor to proclaim his undying affection to her, to all within hearing of her home. The years passed, and the young man grew into a respected man. That doesn't work. And so no. You know, let's just use the word Lord, why not? Into a respected Lord. No, I'm not gonna reread from the beginning. Just gonna continue from here. The years passed, and the young man grew into a respected lord. The girl stayed by him, the colors of her youth fading with time, her movements slowing against her will. He cared not. Each night he would ask her to dance for him, and each night she would happily oblige. For him there was no other. For her there could never be any other. And then the first tragedy came. One evening, she found herself unable to move. She pleaded with her own limbs, begged her body to turn and swirl as they had always done. But she couldn't. Fear overtook her. What worth had she if she could never dance again for the Lord? Time continued to pass, and the Lord began to look at her less and less. On rare occasions, he would ask her to dance again, and she would try ever so hard, and fail just as she had that first horrifying night. She felt her existence dwindling, and there was nothing she could do. And then the second tragedy came. She looked down at the casket, tears long frozen on her face from shame, now staring in disbelief. The man was old and gray now. She hadn't realized how much time had passed. Though he had no longer spent nearly as long with her as he once did, he never left her. She vowed she would see his smile one last time, oblivious to the end that came so suddenly. She tried, just one last time, but then she never danced again. Sad stories have their charm, but I'm not really much of a sad story writer. Even so, that was a sad story. Okay, let's move on. How long have I been writing? Less than half an hour. Right, it only looks like so much because I'm writing size 14 font for once instead of size 11. Let's see. Well, let's stop Ender Lilies. Let's see. What are we, should I write in an action piece? The other idea I have is also kind of depressing. More actiony, but also dark and depressing. I guess that's me. Well, I guess today's stream will just be kind of dark and depressing, huh? Who knows? Maybe the music will hype me up more and it won't be so dark and depressing. Unlike this first story, I have even less idea of where I'm going with it. Like, the first story, I at least had an idea. I had a basic layout in my head. Apparently I could do short stories fine. Super short ones. Anyway, let's go with it. Armored Core music this time. Armored Core 4? Well, various Armored Cores. Okay, this is too hype. I can't write something dark with this. Let's see. Now let me take a sip first. Life was good. Let's see. Let's come up with some names. Erebus. Don't know what that means anything. Let's look that up real fast. The family name. Okay, well, it's gonna be this guy's name. Life was good. Erebus had plenty of coin in his pocket. I was gonna say gold. Had plenty of coin in his pockets. And a big old goblet of wine in his I just thought of something. Let's see. Let's see. Even as the world fell apart around him, the old mercenary even as the world fell apart around him, the old mercenary had no worries. He fared very little, and indeed, the fate of two countries collapsing into each other very, very little. Indeed, the fate of two countries collapsing into each other after years of war was barely even a concern. Now, I should have like a little underscore here thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see, where did I go from here? Yeah, you're right, I can. I don't even have to do that. I just hit, like, Alt-Enter, I think? Or is it Control-Enter? Yeah, Control-Enter. That's fine. Thanks for showing up, by the way. I wasn't sure what I'm doing here. Is the music too loud? Yeah, I was just gonna write a little bit on stream. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah, of course you have. One of our mutual friends was streaming earlier too. Ah. Let's see, I lost my train of thought. I didn't have much of one, but let's see. When the drink ran out, there was always the next town, the next tavern, and the next job. Losing friends was always a tinge of sorrow, but that was part of immersed life, and there were always more friends. There were always more friends to meet. Well, this is a coincidence I didn't quite intend, but Armored Core, you're always playing a mercenary, and it looks like I'm writing about a mercenary. There are always more friends to meet. I wonder if this next bit's gonna be a touch dark. Let's see, even if there was no employer to pay, let's see, even there's no employer to, I can't think of good things, so I'll just keep going. Even there was no employer to pay for his time, the cutthroats that always inevitably appeared were certain to provide some small change. That always meant to provide some small change. That was all he did. That was all he really needed. Though a bigger paycheck was always welcome. I wonder if using the word paycheck here is odd. This is clearly like some kind of like Middle Ages fantasy thing. Paycheck. Yeah, probably has some older roots. Whatever, let's keep it that way. Battlefields were all the same. Few Aravis. See the throat? Stab it. Let's see. No, I guess... See the throat, smash. Let's see. See the throat? Stab it. Okay, yeah, that works. See the throat? Stab it. Here the throat? Chop it. And if you were to rub up against some heavy play, there was always some blunt object slammed into it. Let's see. Stay on one field for long enough? And eventually no one would dare approach him with anything less than a catapult or a ballista. Some employers thought they would be clever. Send the dumb mercs into a hopeless situation. And even if they succeeded, they could be cut down. They could be cut. Let's see. See them immersed into a hopeless situation. Even if they succeeded, they would be wounded and fatigued. Okay, just make sure I didn't accidentally hit the insert key. They could be cut down with ease, and no coin would exchange hands. Even Erebus hated such employers. The issue, however, wasn't the difficulty of his survival. It was because his friends seldomly made it out with him. After all, can't think of a decently cringy title. Let's see. Okay, I got a decently cringy title. After all, Erebus the Unbled couldn't die. In fact, couldn't age either, nor be wounded. No, let's skip that age part. He couldn't be wounded either. No arrow ever remained in his body for more than a second. No blade that passed through ever severed a limb. He could still suffer pain and be buried alive. Still feel pain and be buried alive, or he can still suffer pain and be buried alive, and still feel pain. He could, however, still suffer pain. He could be buried alive and thrown into ever-burning fires. Or chained to the bottom of the vast sea of monsters. The vast sea of deep horrors. Could be very light or thrown into ever-burning fires, or chained to the bottom of the vast seas of deep horrors. The trouble was, Erebus was acutely aware of this, and incredibly strong and skilled as a warrior should be. After a millennium of life. The other trouble was, no one else seemed to realize this. Okay, almost no one else seemed to realize this. Those who did either had no reason or no desire to incapacitate him. He wasn't exactly trouble for any particularly. Wasn't exactly trouble for wasn't exactly troubles for the real. Let's see, what was it saying? The real pushers and movers? I can't think of the word. Movers, shakers and movers? Was that the right thing? Okay, yeah. The real movers and shakers of the world. They tried for the real movers and shakers of the world. He simply didn't operate on that scale. All he needed was a plate with... All he needed was a filling plate with heavy seasoning. And enough drink for 3 men his size. So long as he had those, he was content to wallow in the mire of dead and dying. And on the mire, then dying. Content to wallow in the mire of the dead and dying, and live out his centuries in the most exciting boredom an immortal could have. So long as you didn't take those from him, he had no reason to slay your gods. He had no reason to reach your citadels or slay your gods. Okay, I think that's decent. Stream ran for less than an hour, but I don't know how to. I can't write for that long. Heck, this is more writing than I normally do in the span of an hour. Because I feel like I have to constantly keep moving, keep thinking or talking or something. Anyway, let's see. Now let's go with the simple one. The Unbled. I was gonna say Erebus, the Unbled. Let's just go with the Unbled. Okay. The Unbled. Life was good. Erebus had plenty of coin in his pockets and a big old goblet of wine in his hand. Yeah, but mercenaries always have cheap ale, right? Oh, it's a goblet. Let's go with wine. Even as the war fell apart around him, the old mercenary had no worries. He feared very little, and indeed, the fate of 2 countries collapsing into each other after years of war was barely even a concern. When the drink ran out, there was always the next town, the next tavern, and the next job. Losing friends was always a tinge of sorrow, but that was part of Merc's life, and there were always more friends to meet. Even if there was no employer to pay for his time, the cutthroats that always inevitably appeared were certain to provide some small change. That was all he really needed, though a bigger payout was always welcome. Battlefields were all the same to Erebus. See the throat? Stab it. Hear the horse? Chop it. If you were to rub up against some heavy plate, there was always some blunt object to slam into it. Some nearby blunt object to slam into it. Stay on one field for long enough, and eventually no one would approach him with anything less than a catapult or a ballista. Some employers thought they would be clever, send the dumb mercs into a hopeless situation, and even if they succeeded, they would be wounded and fatigued. They could be cut down with ease, and no coin would exchange hands. Even Erebus hated such employers. The issue, however, wasn't the difficulty of his survival. It was because his friends seldomly made it out with him. After all, Erebus the Unbled couldn't die. In fact, he couldn't be wounded either. No arrow ever remained in his body for more than a second. No blade that passed through ever severed a limb. He could, however, still suffer pain. He could be buried alive, or thrown into ever-burning fires, or chained to the bottom of the vast seas of deep horrors. The trouble was, Erebus was acutely aware of this, and incredibly strong and skilled as a warrior should be after a millennium of life. The other trouble was, almost no one else seemed to realize this. Those who did either had no reason or no desire to incapacitate him. It wasn't exactly trouble for the real movers and shakers of the world. He simply didn't operate on that scale. All he needed was a filling plate with heavy seasoning and enough drink for 3 men his size. So long as he had those, he was content to wallow in the mire of the dead and dying, and live out his centuries in the most exciting boredom an immortal could have. So long as you didn't take those from him, he had no reason to breach your citadels, or slay your gods. Okay, I think that was decent. I'll just keep these 2 documents open. Let's see. Format, see what? Okay, that works. Yeah, heading 1, which apparently for me is bolded and underlined. And I should put this on its own separate page. This would be my start screen each time I do a writing stream. Yeah. Yeah, today we wrote the Wind Up Doll and the Unbled. I think that's good. I guess I'll end the recording here. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had fun. I know this is my usual gaming stream. And yeah, I'll probably end up posting more on, possibly on YouTube, but I'll end up doing more of this eventually. For now though, this is it. Until next time, goodbye.